here with Dr. Kimbro, the author of Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, and also your new book, Wealth.
The Wealth Choice.
The Wealth
Success
Choice.
Secrets of Black Millionaires.
Great. And my first question for you is, how or why did Napoleon Hill approach you to co-author?
Well, it was the Napoleon Hill Foundation.
Okay.
I went around the country and I was interviewing successful African Americans for a book that I was writing, and that book was really going to be What Makes the Great Great. And the Napoleon Hill Foundation caught wind of what I was doing. I got a phone call from W. Clement Stone, who in the 1970s was the Bill Gates of his time, one of the world's wealthiest. And he said, young man, when can you come to Chicago? I would like to meet you. Less than 2 weeks later, I fly to Chicago, and it was during that meeting on November 3rd, 1986, that W. Clement Stone said, "You're not the first person to go around the country interviewing successful African Americans." And I said, "I'm not." And he says, "No." He says, "Napoleon Hill was doing this at the time of his death."
Wow.
And so, he said, Napoleon Hill was attempting to write a black version of his all-time classic, Think and Grow Rich. He got 100 pages into the manuscript, died of a stroke. He was 87 years old. And W. Clement Stone held on to those 100 pages for 16 years until I walked into his office.
That's great. My next question was, you talk in your book about how you, many attempts you tried before you actually got to interview Mr. Earl Grey, the founder of Black Enterprise. Yep. And this Black Enterprise conference. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Oh yes, I mean, just an unknown author. But I knew if the book was going to be valid and if the book was going to be reliable, there were certain individuals I had to interview. Regardless of whether they told me, no, I'm too busy, call me back in a couple of years, I couldn't hear it.
Right.
You know, I chose this line of work, and I knew in order to make it, like I said, worthy of readership, worthy of the large audience that I've acquired, there's certain individuals I had to have. So I had to interview John Johnson of Ebony Magazine. I had to interview Earl Grey of Black Enterprise. I had to interview Clarence Smith and Ed Lewis of Essence Magazine. You know, Bruce Llewellyn. I mean, these were game changers at the time. And so it was a labor of love, as all my books are. And the Wealth Choice today isn't any different. I mean, the Wealth Choice is a 7-year study on black millionaires. If you're not 7 figures, you're not in that book. and I guess what sets that book apart, besides being the first of its type for Black America, is there's only 35,000 black millionaires in the United States. And I know over a 7-year period, through the survey, the focus groups, and the interviews, I rubbed shoulders with close to 1,000 of them.
Okay, great. And in the original Think and Grow Rich, it talks about mastermind groups. Have you started any mastermind groups yourself?
No, I haven't, but I've participated in some.
Okay.
And mastermind, that is critical. You can't do it alone. Now, I'm not talking being in the field and chopping cotton, or folks giving you financing and stuff like that. But you need like-minded individuals. When you get around the right circles of people who are in line with your ambition, money will be added to you if you need money, time will be given to you if you need time, resources will be given to you if you need resources. But you've got to be like-minded individuals. You hang around 9 broke people, sooner or later you'll be number 10. If you hang around 10 millionaires and you're the only one who's not a millionaire, just be a matter of time before you're earning 7 figures.
Great stuff. I guess I'll change my next question to kind of go along with your new book.
Yep.
Who were the 3 or 4 most interesting individuals that you interviewed, other than obviously Mr. Graves?
I had a great interview with Trish DeZico.
Okay.
Probably viewer of this interview may not know who Trish DeZico is. She's a Microsoft millionaire.
Oh, wow.
She graduated from Monmouth College, which is now Monmouth University in New Jersey, computer science, goes out to California, gets a job with a high-tech company. Only 3,000 employees. Of the 3,000 employees, only 40 were black. Bill Gates, Microsoft, he couldn't afford to pay her what she was worth. So he gave her stock options. And after 4 years, one day, the stock split. Several months later, it split again. Several weeks later, it split. Days, it kept splitting, and she told me, after 5, 6 years there working for Microsoft, she looked down and she was standing in a pool of liquid gold.
Wow.
I had another great interview with a gentleman by the name of Roosevelt Peebles. Now, who's Roosevelt Peebles? He's a Phase 4 plastic surgeon in Nashville, Tennessee. What's a Phase 4 plastic surgeon? That means you're walking down the street and for some unforsaken reason, you're hit by an 18-wheeler tractor trailer truck and your body is splattered into a million pieces. He could put you back together again and no one would see a stitch of scar. His practice is all referral and, just very unassuming, 52 years old, earning money hand over fist, but damn near saving every dime of it.
Wow. Okay, thank you. And what advice would you give, 2 more questions, what advice would you give to someone looking for a mentor or mentorship from millionaires?
Well, the greatest mentor that you would ever have is you mentoring yourself.
Okay.
Make sure that your mind is right. So number 1, dream big dreams because they do come true. Number 2, commit yourself to excellence. Don't be average. No one wants anybody who is average. Average people who sell average products, to an average marketplace earn average profits. So no one wants average.
Wow.
And then last but not least, believe in yourself when no one else will.
Okay. And my last question, did you know that Tim Ferris considers your book one of his favorite books?
Now that I didn't know.
Okay. Yeah. Listen.